There have been new developments in the research of rods. We now have footage of rods taken by infrared cameras that reveals what they look like in infrared. We also have insects and we have birds, dragonflies. They all have a certain footprint. Rods, they also have their own patterns. You're about to see a creature that is among us that is extraordinary. There's nothing like this life form in the world. And we have the evidence that proves it's real, once and for all, after 19 years of research.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Joe. My name is Jose Escamilla. I'm a world-renowned filmmaker, UFO investigator.
Oh, you're that guy that had that Roswell Rods documentary. Yeah, that didn't work out so good.
No. Guess what? Do you know
what that is? Well, let's explain to people what it is. Roswell Rods, this gentleman, I'm sure he's a very nice guy, made a documentary that I watched, and I was like, whoa, this is fucking crazy, where he was documenting all these things that are flying around us all the time that we don't see. These long, tubular, jellyfish-looking things that are flying at speeds that you can't see with the naked eye. And I saw this documentary, and I'm like, that is incredible. That's amazing. And then a show called Monster Quest came along. And what they did is they set up two cameras. One of those super high-speed cameras that you use for like super slow-mo, where you see a guy get hit and spray flies. Well, they found out that what those tubes were just bugs. And then as bugs fly past the lens, it leaves a video artifact. So they showed two films, one of just the bugs flying around in the same location, and the other with a shitty camera that shows these tubes.
Ever since I appeared on Monster Quest, I have been verbally attacked by people that hate me due to their viewing the episode on rods. I have received death threats, and my business has been greatly affected. I am setting the record straight once and for all, and I hope this film gets the exposure that Monster Quest received.
Like, whoa, this is fucking crazy.
Joe Rogan, this video is for you. On Monster Quest, the producers fooled people by bringing in experts and university professors who conducted camera tests. A perfect example is the indoor paintball camera test, where they set up a regular camcorder and they shot a high-velocity object, in this case a paintball, and it is recorded as an elongated blur. What Dr. Wu and the Monster Quest narrator did not disclose is that the camcorder was set at the auto-normal setting, which is the fresh-out-of-the-box factory setting, as I mentioned earlier. Had they really wanted to be truthful with the paintball test, they would have set the camera using my scuff fishing protocol to the highest shutter setting. The Monster Quest producers knew what the result would have been. The paintball would have looked like a paintball, no blurry object. That was the first of the deception. The next camera test was to be a broad daylight high-speed camera versus camcorder test at a bird watcher's backyard. The Monster Quest producers decided that hummingbirds are the closest thing to rods as far as wing flapping goes. So they get these two bird watchers and set up to film hummingbirds. But hummingbirds didn't show up, so this broad daylight, high-speed, and camcorder test was conveniently eliminated. Oh, and by the way, the bird watchers make the statement that the cave rod footage they were looking at reminds them of insects.
Yeah, it looks to me more like insect flight than it would any kind of bird flight.
But insect was the first thing that sort of popped into my mind.
Professor Robin Wooten of the University of Exeter in the United Kingdom is a leading expert on insect biomechanics, paleontology, and evolution. He says the first bugs probably looked like rods.
No insect has 3 pairs of wings. Maximum number of pairs of wings in any insect, known or modern or fossil, is 2 pairs.
Dr. Wooten has seen all the rod images featured in this show and was asked, are any of these rods insects?
There's nothing specifically insect about any of the shots I've seen. The stroke planes of insects tend to be down and forward and then up and back. Sometimes like that, but always in this sort of way. Never are they anything like that. The individual shots of these, some of these images in the Cave of the Swallows show the opposite. They show the wings apparently up there at the top of the stroke and down there at the bottom of the stroke. And that would not fit with any insect that I know of. I don't think these are performing powered flight at all. I don't think they fit in with any known way of propelling an object through air. But they're not beating wings, they're not operating in the way that insects would. In my view, these are projectiles.
The next thing they did was to conduct a wind tunnel test of alleged models to see if Rod's propulsion really works. What they failed to do, and to include, was footage I had sent them with scientists at MIT that have developed a flying nanomachine that is using the flapping pair of wings that, when triggered, actually make Rod propulsion work. They sent this machine to Mars, and it flies through the Martian atmosphere. So Monster Quest ignored yet another piece of evidence that supports the Rod's phenomena. Then they did the high-speed camera versus regular camcorder test. They set up the high-speed camera and camcorder at night. They deliberately did this knowing the regular camcorder has been compromised, because in order to shoot anything at night, you need to set the camcorder at the lowest camera shutter setting in order to catch anything. This setting is even lower than the auto normal settings. Anything is guaranteed to become a blur. The high-speed camera, of course, is shooting true footage. If the producers of Monster Quest had any integrity, they claim to have, they would have consulted me pertaining to these Rod's camera tests. But they didn't, because they knew I would have insisted on eliminating the nighttime camera tests because of the results they would yield. But they never allowed me to see the script, nor did they ever include all the evidence I brought them. To add final insult to their viewing audiences and to Joe Rogan, they finished off their screwing of you all by doing the final injustice to the Rod's evidence. They showed the shuttle footage of Rod's entering Earth. The narrator conveniently calls it debris.
That could explain this image shot by NASA in 1994. The Rod image is likely just space debris.
The tornado footage, which reveals rods 10 and 15 miles away, one of them flying into the funnel of 300 miles per hour, the narrator calls it flying debris, another convenient way of glossing over the real evidence.
The rods might be seen in the tornado footage shot in Oklahoma. Likely debris propelled by the storm at high speeds.
When they presented the underwater footage of rods, the narrator says, probably a fish.
1995 of a rod clearly swimming underwater. A known fish could be responsible.
So this is how the producers of Monster Quest took the Rod's phenomena, which is real, and turned Rods into a complete lie imposed on their naive viewers, including Joe Rogan.
Jose, what I need you to do is mushrooms. That's what I need you to do.
Hey guys, I'm Mila Martinez, editor of Shark Tower Magazine, and this is my video blog, Notes from a Shark Junkie's Journal. I wanted to talk to you guys about some footage that I found. A couple of years ago, I was out with Stuart Cove, and we went out to the weather buoys to dive with silky sharks. We were going to go out there, and what we were doing was, we were checking out the silky sharks, but at the same time, these silky sharks get caught by fishermen all the time, and most of what they do is they cut the line, and these sharks have these hooks. So when we were out there, we were putting the sharks in tonic immobility, and we were removing as many of the hooks as possible. So later, when I'm reviewing the footage, I wanted to go through it and see what we had. Some great stuff of silkies, and then while I was going through the footage, I was going frame by frame. I found something in the footage that really kind of intrigued me, and I wanted to figure out what it was. There were these kind of like these, foot-long white, like rods of some kind, just kind of darting through the water. They're moving so fast that I never saw them while we were down in the water. And then it was just something I never seen before or heard of, and which is basically underwater like flying rods. I did a little bit of research and studied and found out that they have these, there's stories and reports of these flying rods in the sky.
Our efforts pay off. This video shows rods moving back and forth across the screen. Here you can clearly see the membranes on each side, allowing the rod to swim through the air. Some are a few inches long, others a few feet. This kind of mystery, and nobody really knows what they are. They're not really sure if it's real or not.
I kind of, then became a student of it, trying to figure out what it was that I had witnessed. Still don't know what they are. It's a complete mystery. I'm gonna just kind of show you some of the footage and just slow it down so you can see them. And there's gonna be one clip where you'll see the kind of the rod just kind of darting through, and as I go frame by frame, you can kind of see, you know, around it, you know, just, I don't know if they're like little tentacles or whatever it is, but something is propelling those things and making it move extremely fast, and you know that to the naked eye you're really not going to be able to see them. So I'm going to take you through a few frames and so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. Here you'll see some of the rod, you know, as the silky moves through the water, then you're gonna catch a few frames of these rods kind of darting through the area, and then there's a group of us all together swimming under this buoy, right next to the line, and then a big school of them just kind of shoots through the frame, and I'll slow it down so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I mean, it happens so fast, and it's pretty exciting. You know, it's exciting that, like, well, okay, maybe they already been discovered by science. I don't know. Never heard of them, never seen them before, and I just, you know, thought it was really exciting to find something like this out there. You know, it's just really cool. And really, what excites me about finding stuff like that is that there's still so much that we don't know about the ocean. There's still so many mysteries out there, and there's so much left to do, man. It just gets me excited about wanting to get back out there and you know, because you never know what you're going to find.